Every NBA playoff team's biggest weakness, starting with Boston. The Celtics might be one of the best teams in the league, but if they have a couple weaknesses, one of them is their clutch offense. When games get tight, they start playing a weird brand of hero ball, and somehow, Tatum, their best player, doesn't touch the ball enough. Tatum gets waved off way too often, and other players have too much of a green light. Look at this stat. In clutch time situations, Tatum's usage rate is way below the average for a player of his caliber. Among notable players, Tatum ranks just 19th in high usage rate. That's a problem. Another problem for the Celtics is the fact that their bench isn't exactly elite. Their bench just doesn't have as much defensive talent to keep up with better teams. Add up these two flaws and you can see where things could go wrong in a close playoff game. The Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs' defense is strong, but their rebounding? Not so much. The Cavs are just 20th in defensive rebounding rate. That leads to a ton of second chance points for opponents. In the playoffs, every possession matters, and giving up extra shots is just going to be a killer. The Cavs rebound just fine whenever Mobley's on the court, even without Jared Allen. But the second Mobley hits the bench, teams blitz the boards. Cavs need to get this sorted out before the playoffs. The Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers need a center.
Why are you here? The Lakers need a center.
The Lakers' lack of top-level size and physicality up front not only leaves them vulnerable on the boards, but it also makes it hard for them to stop opponents when they get into the paint. This is something that has been a problem over the last few years. While the Lakers are definitely a bigger and more physical team than they were as recently as early this season, they only have two rotational players on standard contracts who are taller than 6'8", and only one who is over 6'9". As a result, they've had to tap into their G League team for backup big men such as Christian Koloko and Trey Jemison, and neither of them have made much of an impact. This is something that is probably too late to be addressed now, but it would definitely have to be taken care of in the offseason. The Minnesota Timberwolves, struggling in the clutch. While issues in the clutch have been very evident on both ends of the court for this team, the offense has been a bigger issue, according to the numbers. The Wolves have just a 103.8 offensive rating in clutch time, which is 25th in the league, and they shoot just 39% in the final 5 minutes, which is 26th in the league. Their 13.3% turnover percentage is the 11th worst among the 30 NBA teams as well. No doubt, Anthony Edwards is the best player on the Timberwolves, but this can sometimes make the Timberwolves offense too predictable. Other teams know who the ball is going to in the clutch, and sometimes Anthony Edwards can go into hero mode, and he has a 38.9 usage rate in clutch time, and he has a tendency to take ill-advised shots. Timberwolves need to improve their clutch offense if they want to go far in this year's playoffs. The New York Knicks. The Knicks are tough, physical, and well coached, but the one thing holding them back, they struggle against the best teams. They're 3-11 against the top 7 teams in the NBA this year. They're 0-2 against the Thunder, 0-3 against the Cavs, 0-3 against the Celtics, tied at 1-1 versus the Rockets, 0-2 versus the Lakers, and 2-0 versus the Nuggets. They can handle the middle of the pack teams, but when they're up against elite competition, the cracks start to show. That's not a great sign when every team you face in the playoffs is, well, good. The Orlando Magic. Orlando defends well and plays with a lot of effort, but in today's NBA, you need to be able to shoot. The Magic are at the very bottom of the league in three-point percentage. I mean, they are dead last at 31.4%. The Magic can grind out wins in the regular season, but when the playoffs come and every possession matters, their lack of shooting could cost them. The Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets' biggest weakness is their defense. Part of the reason why that 2023 Nuggets squad that won the championship was so good was their defense. However, after the departure of players like Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the Nuggets are definitely feeling the impact. Their two-way presence was definitely a significant factor in the team's title run. This year, the Nuggets ranked 23rd in the NBA in terms of most points allowed, with 117 per game. They also ranked 10th for most three-pointers allowed by an opposing team, giving up 14 threes on average a game. The Denver Nuggets offense is elite. However, their offense is not going to always save them in the playoffs. They need to defend better. The Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies play physical, but sometimes a little too physical. They're at the very top of the league in fouls per game, sitting at second place with 21 fouls per game. In the playoffs, giving away free points is just a recipe for disaster. Jaren Jackson Jr. also sits at second place in the league for most fouls per game, with 3.5 fouls per game. This often leads to Jaren Jackson Jr. being pulled from the game early, and in the playoffs, the Grizzlies are definitely going to need him to be in the game for all 48 minutes. The Detroit Pistons. When it comes to a team that didn't have any expectations coming into the season, it's hard to find a weakness. Nobody expected the Pistons to be 6th in the East and pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot back in October. If you say you did, you're either a Pistons fan or you're a liar. But all that aside, if I had to pinpoint one weakness in this Pistons squad this year, who have fought really hard to win games and have been a very physical team, I would have to say it's their lack of shot creation and playmaking options outside of Cade Cunningham. The Pistons heavily rely on Cunningham for creating offense, and they struggle when he's not available or when opposing teams focus their defense on him. The Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks' success and their problems all begin with Trae Young. Trae's a great playmaker, but he's absolutely terrible on defense, and I don't think it's an effort problem as much as it is just his size. But I don't think your best player can be a D+ defender. Honestly, I think I'm being nice. I think he's really an F defender. He's a liability. In the playoffs, teams will target him relentlessly. If the Hawks can't cover for his weaknesses, it's gonna be tough. The Los Angeles Clippers. I don't have much to say about the Clippers. I think they're doing pretty good with what they have. However, if there's one thing I have to pinpoint, it's Kawhi Leonard's health. In Kawhi's 6 seasons with the Clippers, he's only played 5 seasons, and in those 5 seasons, he's only averaged 52 games played. Because of his injury history, he's had to be very cautious with the amount that he plays. This has led to him being in and out of the lineup every single season. So this raises concerns for me on how well he will mesh with the group compared to the other teams who have a lot of experience with their teammates. The Phoenix Suns. I can't figure out what's wrong with the Suns. I actually have no idea. With the players they have, there's no reason why they should be this bad. You have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And Bradley Beal, I didn't forget about him. I'm thinking they need better defenders and more team chemistry. The biggest issue with the Suns, though, is their defense. They give up the 7th most 3-pointers in the league this season at 14.25 per game. And the most points allowed per game this season, they are number 8, giving up 116.7 points per game. I think the Suns should just blow it up. The Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks' defensive struggles this year have been well documented. After finishing as a top 5 defense in each of the last 5 seasons, they've plummeted to 11th ranked defensive rating of 112.5 points given up per 100 possessions. Part of the problem is their lack of perimeter defense, and you can blame this on the Bucks losing Jrue Holiday. Without him, the perimeter defense has taken a major step back. Opponents are lighting them up from 3, and when you can't contain elite guards in the playoffs, you're in trouble. The Indiana Pacers. The Pacers play at a fast pace and score a ton of points, but there's a reason they struggle in certain matchups. Rebounding. They are one of the worst rebounding teams in the playoff field, ranking 3rd place in worst rebounding percentage in the league at 48.1%. If the Pacers can't figure this out, they're going to have a tough time in the playoffs. The Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are doing pretty good with the duo of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. However, Steph Curry is still carrying this team, even at 37 years old. The Warriors need somebody else to step up, or they're asking for trouble in a deep playoff run. Curry's just going to get tired out. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Do the Thunder even have any flaws? Next team. Nah, I'm just playing. I wouldn't do that. But I mean, it's still hard to find a flaw with this team. But I gotta do some digging. I think the only thing that stands out to me about the Thunder is their lack of playoff experience. I think Shea is gonna be Shea, but it's just everyone else, which is also something the Thunder struggle with a bit. The Thunder are not nearly as good when Shea is off the floor. But luckily, that's not something we have to worry about, because Shea's a pretty durable and healthy player, and he'll for sure be around in the playoffs. The Houston Rockets. The Rockets do not have a consistent go-to scorer. Jalen Green will give you 34 one game, but give you 9 the next. And as Jalen Green is considered as the best player on this team, He has way too many games with fewer than 10 points this season, with 9 and 3 coming from the month of March alone. The Rockets need to find out who their best player is. What do you think every NBA team's biggest weakness is? If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed, as I will be posting more videos like this. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.